Hey everyone, Ethan here with Word Tech, and we've got another video for you guys today. So I'm actually going to be doing a networking project with my buddy Alex. He's off camera right now, but he'll be in the time lapse that we'll show you later. But as many of you may or may not know, I throw a lot of LAN parties at my place here, and I have a pretty good sized basement that I use for those LAN parties. Problem is, networking's a real pain whenever we do have a LAN party around here. Oftentimes, it's just linking together crappy old switches and broken Ethernet cables and stuff like that. So I decided to invest some money in making it more official because I'm starting to do them more and more now. So what I've got here is a whole bunch of supplies for networking up this entire basement. And also allowing me to expand on it in the future. So I'll kind of go over what we have here and what we're doing, and then there'll be a time lapse. So anyway, just to start though, as I went ahead and I ordered 500 feet of Cat 6 Ethernet cable. It's a little bit overkill. Cat 5e would do fine, but eventually I'm hoping to get gigabit internet here, so figured I might as well go ahead and do that, and I've got gigabit switches anyway. 500 feet from Monoprice. It's got a 15-year warranty on it, so no worries there. Really high quality stuff, so definitely, I got this from Amazon, but obviously Monoprice sells it on their own website as well. So definitely pretty good there. Then we've got 4 Ethernet switches, but they're in 2 piles for a reason. So what this is here is this is a power over Ethernet supported gigabit 8-port switch. Now, 4 of the ports here supply power over Ethernet, or PoE. For those of you who don't know, it's just a way of, basically this has a beefy power supply in it that can supply a fairly substantial amount of power over the Ethernet cable. And that's very important because there are routers and stuff even that can run off of PoE. Now, that is again 8-port gigabit. These here are 8-port gigabit switches that are PoE PD, which is power over Ethernet powered. It has this one port right here, and as long as I plug in the cable from the PoE switch into the PoE PD port, it will completely self-power these. So that way these don't actually have to be plugged into the wall. They do have a power supply that comes with them if you need it, and they do come with all the wall mounting hardware, so that's pretty cool because these are going to be mounted on the wall. This one won't, but that way I don't have to figure out how to cable manage and use extension cords and crap. I can just put them wherever I want in the room. And this cable is, generally most Ethernet cables should work totally fine with PoE. Most of them, it's kind of part of the Ethernet certification. Well, certification if you know what I mean. But I would recommend whatever you buy to make sure that you've seen somebody talk about using it with PoE, just to make sure. This here, there was several people on Amazon that said that they're using it with their PoE devices and it's working totally fine. So something good to know. And if you're doing this sort of project, this is the kind of supplies that you would need as well. So what I've got here though is a wire cutter, stripper, and crimper. It's actually designed for the Ethernet connectors to crimp the Ethernet cables, which have 8 little wires in them, into the correct spots on the Ethernet cable. You'll need one of these. These come in a kit that usually comes with this here. It's like 100 or something, or 50 Ethernet cable connectors, as well as this here. It's all about $8, usually $8 to $15. This here is a Ethernet cable tester that will allow you to test to make sure that the Ethernet cables are wired up correctly so that you don't have to, worry about them not working after you've put them together and mounted them and all that kind of stuff. So definitely you need a kit like this. It's very hard to do it without a kit like this. It's possible, you can get all the wiring diagrams and stuff online and figure out how to wire it up yourself, but the crimping especially is really hard to do without an actual Ethernet crimper. So definitely recommend getting these because they're so cheap. And it also comes with this here, which is another form of a cutter slash stripper. So there's that. Then I also got 100 Ethernet connectors here. I know this came with some, but I figured to just order extra just in case, and these are a little bit higher quality of ones. And then we come to the part that is a little bit more unique, something that you'd have to figure out in your scenario what you're trying to do. But for me, I'm going to be mounting these on the wall, and potentially the ceiling is where all of my wiring is going to be run because these are wall mountable switches. So in order to do that, I got these little C-clamps right here, and basically I can put the cables through there. They clamp down. I'm going to be using thumbtacks actually as the goal. We'll see if that works. I'll let you guys know at the end if the thumbtacks actually worked instead of nails. But basically you can put the cable in there, you can put the thumbtack through it, mount it on the wall, good to go. So hopefully the thumbtacks work with that. They're about the right size and they are definitely long enough. Not sure how well the strength of them is going to be, so we'll have to see. But a pack of 6 of these is like $1 at Lowe's or Home Depot, especially these cheap plastic ones. So I mean, I just buy way too many. You can never have enough of them, So anyway, enjoy the time lapse. All right, everybody, so far the networking project has been a success. It is completely done other than some additives that I may do later. I will be going over those in just a moment, but I want to first say that unfortunately the camera died during the very end of the time lapse, so everything still looked mostly disassembled while you guys were watching that time lapse. I apologize for that. The project was supposed to be a 1-day project and ended up being a 5-day project. Just because of all kinds of different complications, technical difficulties, multiple runs to the hardware store, stuff like that. So that's the reason that I ended up having so many different sections. So you'll see that the time lapse is in different areas as well. Again, though, I apologize for the end being gone. For whatever reason, Adobe Premiere Pro will not let me put the images in a sequence to do a time lapse. I've had this problem before. I've never found a solution to it, and I've done every trick that I can find out there about that, the issue that I'm having. Point is, though, the camera wouldn't let me assemble the images into a time lapse either, even though it's supposed to prompt me for that when the time lapse ends because the battery died. Now, we ran into a few complications during this project. I also had to get a part replaced, which was unfortunate. So basically, one of my switches, one of the Power over Ethernet powered switches, decided to just not function. They would power up and it would allow other things to connect to it, but it would start spitting out random errors and it was never functioning fully at all. It was really weird because all the other switches were working just fine. Got a replacement, that one works fine, so I got to send back the other one. Unfortunately, one of them was just dead. That's actually probably my first ever dead on arrival product, so that was a little bit unfortunate, but it happens, right? Then I also ran into an issue whereas the thumbtacks did not work to hold up the clips that I had gotten. Doesn't surprise me. I had a feeling they wouldn't work. I was just really hoping to make it really simple and easy. Oh well. And also, of course, my crimper for my Ethernet clips decided to be a piece of crap. That's what I get for buying a cheap one off Amazon, I guess. So I bought a really expensive one and that fixed all my problems. I wasn't actually able to crimp the Ethernet connectors properly. In fact, you probably saw in the time lapse there, a portion of me standing in the back corner of the room forever and coming kind of back and forth. That was me trying to figure out why the wires weren't working, why it wasn't crimping correctly. It wasn't pushing all the pins up, all the 8 pins up into the wires, so I wasn't getting a good connection. It was really unfortunate, but you know, it happens. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the camera and show you guys everything here. All right, everyone. So it actually all starts over here. It's a little bit of a mess, but I cleaned up the room mostly. So I'll go ahead and just do a quick pan. I still got some vacuums, extension cords, recycling, things like that I need to move, but it's mostly cleaned up now, which is a really good feeling. But anyway, over here, so it all starts with this guy here. This is my T-Mobile cell spot router, or realistically, it's actually just a ASUS router. I actually don't remember the model number for whatever reason. I usually do. But anyway, that's where it actually all starts, down in the basement. That actually is not functioning as a router at all, though. That is actually functioning just as a Wi-Fi access point and a switch. My router and gateway are across the other side of the house. Then over here, I've got the Power over Ethernet powered switch, which will be mounted on the wall in those 2 little holes that you can see right there. I just haven't gotten around to drilling the holes. I just kind of did some pre-holes there, but I need to make them a little bit bigger. That was just by putting a screw in there. So anyway, that right there is the Power over Ethernet switch that actually provides 4 ports of Power over Ethernet. So if I can get the camera to focus here, doesn't want to for whatever reason. Right there, the three that are plugged in, as well as the one to the right of those 3, are all Power over Ethernet ports. They can supply a pretty good amount of power, so that's pretty nice. The other ones are just regular Ethernet ports, and I've got the uplink from the ASUS router or ASUS switch over there running into that gray cable right there. The cables run up the wall here. I will be putting in a couple more clips to hold this down. I just wanted to loosen it up so that while I go ahead and put that switch on the wall, I don't have to worry about the cables not being where I need them to be. I've also got this black cable here. That is the cable that runs across the entire house. And it comes up over here and down into the basement, all the way from the upstairs to the other side of the house. I decided to mount that on the wall. That's always been on the floor. It gets snagged on and stuff all the time. It's actually way too long. It is not a custom made one. You can kind of see the bundle down there that's all messed up. So yeah, I went ahead and mounted that on the wall. That was with separate clips because it was an afterthought because I'm smart. So anyway, going up and across here, you'll see my Wi-Fi password that I'm going to, of course, blank out. Then you go across here, all my wires go across the room, and we'll get to the first switch over here. This is actually the switch that was having the issues. So this one here decided to, not the actual one you're seeing, but the one that I had mounted here decided to just completely not work. So anyway, got that replaced. It's fully functional now. I've tested all these switches, of course. And then the wires go back up all the way across the room over here by my trophies and posters and books and crap like that. They are run along up there as well, and then go down into here. And right here I've got, this is actually all the extra cable that I had just from the cables that I was making. I also have probably still like 300 feet-ish left in the monoprice box. But anyway, this right here is my cable mess. And this cable I unfortunately made a little too long. I might recrimp it, I'm not sure yet. I might just try and go back and tighten that up a little bit. But other than that, I'm mostly pretty happy with it. My camera keeps not wanting to focus. That's the one thing about this G7, man. The autofocus just isn't that great. Anyway, so that switch is mounted there. Totally a success. And then as you can see, it continues up on the ceiling over there, down in through here. And there's the final switch right there. This is actually just a kind of a weird place to have it. So my bedroom is actually right back in there. You can kind of see it. Again, I don't know why it's having trouble focusing. I apologize for that. But my bedroom's actually back in there. And this is like my home theater area right over here. So that is a really good place for the switch so that I can, people that are at LAN parties can sit over here. I can also wire up my HTPC, which will probably be done in a couple months. I'm hoping like 2 months at most, but really realistically, I'd like it to be quicker. Anyway, so I can wire all this up with Ethernet as well. And I'm probably going to throw another switch into my bedroom for when I put my 4K TV in there, because I'm getting a bigger one. But I digress. All right, everybody, so as you saw there, everything is a success. Yes, I know that it is a little bit messy. Yes, I know that the clips are not aligned horizontally, and frankly, I don't care. I needed to get those cables up. I'm having LANs here really soon. I'm having multiple LAN parties. I needed to get it up and running and make sure everything was functioning, because trying to use a whole bunch of old routers and switches and make them communicate together running, 100 megabit fast Ethernet just doesn't work very good for LAN parties. It's caused so many problems. So this is gonna be so much better. People can just plug into the wall, they're good to go. So that's why I kind of just threw it up there. I may go back and actually make it really nice someday, but that'll be a completely other project. I don't plan to do that anytime very soon. I'm satisfied with the results. Basically, now I have wires everywhere and switches everywhere. That's exactly what I needed. I needed a lot of Ethernet ports across this room. Like I said, I may be adding a fourth one in my bedroom. If I do, I'll do an update video on that, of course. But thank you everybody for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and also follow me on social media. We've got a whole bunch of social media links down there, as well as a link to our website, which we'll have news articles on soon. And there's also a link to our gaming channel, which will have some stuff soon. I'll make a dedicated video about what's going on there, but I actually have some content almost ready for that channel. So make sure you subscribe to that so you don't miss that content. And of course, we've also got the Minecraft and Teamspeak server IPs down in the description. You're totally welcome to join the Teamspeak just with your friends to use it or whatever. I know most people use Discord, but if for whatever reason you want to use Teamspeak, you're welcome to use that. And then we've also got Minecraft down there, so you can join our Minecraft, join the Teamspeak, and talk to other people that are playing the Minecraft. Anyway, thank you everybody for watching.